and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Hot Take series. We are back with another amazing guest today. We have Donuts. Welcome on in.
Hello. Thank you for the invite. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you for being here, man. We appreciate it. Donuts is absolutely killing it on the YouTube, on the shorts, on everything in between. He's been absolutely killing it. Check out his channel. He'll be the first link in the description. But today, we have your hot takes about Citadelle Day More, because that's what just came out, all right? We're keeping it up with the trends. You know, we were struggling when the game was releasing because we had nothing to talk about. And now we got everything to talk about. New maps, AI things, gameplay, the swords are not strong enough, the power drill. What's going on? We're going to bring it all down today. So, I thought that we should get started with just a hot take that you can read off. Donuts, this one's off by Ginger Melon. So if you're ready, you want to get into it, let's get going.
Absolutely. All right. The swords are cool, but when it comes to elemental weapons, they are the worst out of them all. Very hot take, in my opinion. Very hot take. What do you think?
I disagree. I definitely disagree. If we're just talking about 4 elemental wonder weapons, right? I mean, he's talking about that concept. I think he's leaving out things like the ray guns in Alpha Mega. Things like the dies from Die Machine. Like...
the Krakens.
The Krakens. Like, those things in high rounds are just like glorified, like, pushing someone over. So...
And I like the Krakens, but these are way cooler.
Where would you, like, I feel like a better question for this is, where would you put the swords? Would you put it, like, by the gauntlets or the bows? How are you feeling about them?
Definitely closer to the gauntlets. Well, overall, I feel like, this might be a hot take here, keeping with the theme. I feel like the bows are infinitely better than the staffs. I know that's weird, but I think the bows have been the best. Staff somewhere next, maybe the hands kind of somewhere around that. You know, those are my top 3 things. And I would say that the swords are underneath all of them, but not by much. They're far and above the ray guns and the Krakens and the DIEs and all that stuff. So that's kind of where they sit.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're definitely ahead of everything that we said. I would put them around the gauntlets too. The gauntlets are like my favorite. I don't think they're the best. But like the Hand of Curon, that might be my favorite wonder weapon ever. I think that's such a cool weapon.
It's the style.
They got that, bro. They got the style. And it's not just like earth. It's not just like fire, ice, wind. It's like, no, they have like a hell one and an earth one. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
And I think the swords do that as well. Like the light sword, which is kind of have a similar ability to the chakras in 9. And then, you know, everything else. That style point, this might be my favorite looking for wonder weapon. It might be my cosmetic favorite.
I might agree
like that
to that.
and the gauntlets. But in terms of like practicality, I would probably agree that's about 3 or 4. I wouldn't put it. I think the bows and the staffs are definitely 1 and 2, and then I would say that it's right around the gauntlets. That's a pretty good take. We're agreeing it to start. I don't know if it's gonna say that way.
Treyarch says they're gonna get a buff soon.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Treyarch tweeted out they're gonna get a buff. So who knows? Maybe by the time this video's out, they're the best thing ever. But as of now, pre-patch.
Yeah, and the biggest criticisms that most people have had in the sword is it only kills 1 zombie at once, especially without melee macchiato, and it takes too many zombies to charge. I think it's 20. I think 20 is the number that it takes.
20 is the minimum, I think. I think the Raven one takes like 40 or something I saw, and I think it was Dalek's video.
I think the 20, I think the light is 20, and the fire is 20. I'm not 100% sure the exact numbers, but it is a lot, right? It's not like, because it's not ammo based, so a charge shot
especially in high rounds.
In high rounds, when you got super sprinters and those special zombies, it's difficult. So do you think they should change this? Do you think they should have the cooldowns quicker? Because I do. I think it should take less.
Yeah, I think so too. It's weird because the melee is so weird in Black Ops 6. Like, it's not bad, but it's not like it was in Cold War, where it was super, super good and easy to do because of how many zombies are on a map. Melee builds killing 1 zombie at a time, and with how many hordes are around you, it just makes it inherently difficult. So I think if you have a wonder weapon that's supposed to be really powerful, it would help to have an ability to kill, I think Stanley 557 and I were talking about, like, even if it killed 2 zombies, it would be better than what it does now. So I definitely think there could be a little bit more play in there with how many zombies it kills, and definitely speeding up that charge, especially on high rounds.
I definitely agree. I think you hit the nail on the head where the pathing in this game, they're so quick, and they don't move kind of in a horde.
Which is good.
And I think that's good for the difficulty. I think that it really switches up the game, and you're always on your toes, even in the lower rounds.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have us, and I understand the argument that, you know, it can't be so overpowered because there's no ammo. I do get that, but I just think it inherently takes too long to charge it, and I think the ability to kill maybe they could have had like a charge up ability with the slash, where if you hold down your right trigger, you can kill multiple zombies with one slash. Or if you want to just add it in the base
Or
one.
if the parry stuns them. Or
yeah,
something.
exactly. Like the parry would have been great. Maybe the parry, you stun them, and then if you slash after the parry, it'll kill all the zombies that you parried. I think that would have been a great thing. But just killing one by one.
And Trick is smart if they make it. Yeah. Trick is smart if they make it kill more than one. They might not need to decrease the charge time because you'll be able to kill more efficiently. So it balances
yeah, I think
out.
they should do one or the other. I think doing both might make it too much.
Ooh, there's a lot under my tweet. The Pack-a-Punch camos on this map are trash. Same as Liberty Falls and to a lesser extent Terminus. Ooh,
there you go.
Oh,
Hot take, hot take.
They haven't been good since SOE. And the Giant, DE introduced a trend with multicolor Origins knockoffs, and they've just become more garnish with each map since. That was painful to read. Oh no.
Dude, well, just starting off calling the revelations of GK camos trash. I just think that's crazy. It hasn't been good since Shadows? That's nuts.
Oh wow, that is. I think there's a seed of truth in this. I think that, especially with I think it's so much more. Like, I agree at some points in time, like, I forget which ones. Blood of the Dead. Blood of the Dead's Pack-a-Punch camo felt just kind of like blah to me, and it was like, oh, you're just doing colors to do colors. But with the triple Pack-a-Punch system we have in Cold War, you kind of need multiple things, and so the most natural thing to do is the multicolored the Origins
the Origins reactive knockoff. But they're different. Every map, they are different. They are different. And I think that Terminus, I mean, he kind of gives a little bit of respect. I think Terminus's Pack-a-Punch camos are amazing. I think they're so good.
That's so good. I think they're one of the best in the franchise.
They're so good. And I think
maybe it's just the purple one.
Yeah, I don't care. They're all great. I love them all. But even I like the Citadelle ones. I like the pink and yellow one. I think that's the first pack you get. I think that one's good. I think all three of them are. I think the Pack-a-Punch camo is great. I agree that Liberty Falls might be a little questionable. It's not the best, but it's not horrible. Like, you're acting like every camo is the exact same when they're definitely not. So I think the Pack-a-Punch camos were really good in this.
I didn't like Cold Wars.
No,
yeah.
I'm trying to remember Cold War's Pack-a-Punch camo.
Like the base one, the first one we got with Outbreak and D Machine and Firebase C.
That was.
I don't know if we had them for so long.
Yeah.
It just felt kind of bleh,
But there's a smidge there. There's a smidge there. Our next take is not even a hot take. We're just gonna put it on the screen for 5 seconds. We're gonna acknowledge it's there, and then we're just gonna move on.
Oh no.
We're just gonna put it on the screen. And then we're moving on.
There it is.
We're moving on. Our next take here is from Viox. He says, missed opportunity for a night-themed elite enemy. It could have led to a melee attack or a sword bash attack that impacted the floor as a ranged attack. Would have been way better than the Amalgam. Yeah, the Amalgam edition in this map doesn't make sense to me. I think it's a bit forced. Like, I like okay, we're not gonna put mangoes in there, but the Amalgams, I don't understand it. They had a great backstory in Terminus, as in they were the people that the French Syndicate were taking to the island and then being experimented on, and that's kind of like what they became. That made sense, but then for them to also be in this map, I don't kind of understand that. But what do you think of? Do you think that the boss zombie in this map? Have you enjoyed it? What's the name of it again?
I do like the enemy, and I agree. I'm kind of over the Amalgam. I think it's like you said, I love it in Terminus, and then when it was back here, I was like, okay, whatever. But I think the reason why I think it's in there is because I think they really like that evolutionary mechanic that they have. Zombie turns into the vermin turns into the parasite. Parasites will now actually take zombies. I don't know if you've seen this in game. They'll latch onto a zombie and they'll turn it into a doppelgast.
Okay.
And then if the doppelgast stays alive too long, it'll turn into an amalgamation.
Yeah.
So there's this evolutionary track that I think they're really happy with and they want to showcase. But that's just not what I think a lot of zombie fans like. I think a lot of us really like each map has a different take on that sort of boss or special enemy. And Cold War, I feel like, especially towards the end, had really weak special enemies, just throwing everything in there.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we were worried about, especially with Liberty Falls. And I think that's just kind of how I feel about the Amalgams, where it's just like, okay, it is what it is, but it's not a positive for me.
Yeah, well, in their marketing of this map, they really hinted towards the fact that this would be based in magic. Like Terminus, Liberty Falls, those were based on science. Even all of Cold War, honestly, is based off of like research facilities we're experimenting and this is happening and this is why and this is a reason. But in this map, they really dealt with
sci-fi.
Yeah, in this map they really dealt with magic, and I thought that was a great concept because that was a big thing in the Ether story,
Awesome.
and in this map they do it really well. The incantations, the swords, the ghost, and the Easter egg. It was like, okay, this is amazing. But then the boss fight. Don't even give that. Maybe my favorite boss fight ever. I love it that much.
Oh,
but
so good.
This map, like the boss zombies, is based on science. I think that you could have really done a magic, a magic boss enemy that doesn't need to make sense because nothing else in this map makes sense. You know what I mean? They could have told a great story. They told a great story with the Bastard Swords, the 4 Knights. They could have done an evil 5th Knight, maybe, a boss zombie. That would have been great.
Right.
I feel like they did miss an opportunity there. Just a little bit.
And that could be, I feel like the parry is just like, I've been looking for something to parry and be like, oh, this is why it's in here, but I can't figure out. But that sort of knight boss enemy would be a great enemy to like take out your sword, have a knife fight with it, sword fight with it, and then melee it, parry it, all this stuff. Like, this is a great idea.
Yeah, I do too. And you're spot on with the parry. Like, the parry effect is really only super helpful in a co-op boss fight, right? Having one person parry the boss and then other people shoot him at his armor, take it out. But you're right, in your actual day-to-day, gameplay experience, if you're only playing for high rounds and casually, which most players are doing, you're not going to use the parry ability. Now, maybe there's some ability we haven't discovered yet. That's still possible. I mean, the map is only out a week. It has only been out a week or so. But
it's good on the amalgam. It'll block the amalgam attack, which is good.
It will. That's true. But they could have seen it.
Yeah,
they could have seen other opportunities. And I feel like I'm not gonna really jab them because this is just a great idea by this take here. But I would have loved to see a magic sort of concept zombie that we didn't get to see in this game or this map.
Doppelgast might be one of the best designed special enemies we've gotten since Margwas that feel like they fit the zombies gameplay well. I'll have to agree. I like how Manglers feel a little bit more tanky and they like come at you from a distance and they're marching towards you, but the Doppelgast is more of the speed over health thing. It's really easy to kill, really fast, especially after the Lightmend ammo mod and the elemental pop and all that stuff really goes down quick. I love how it uses omni movement in Black Ops 6, kind of going back and forth, and I like gameplay wise how it fits into the gameplay more than I like what we said earlier. It doesn't really fit in the map itself, but in terms of gameplay, I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I think that it's very unique. I've not seen the dashing ability that the zombie has. I know in the trailer, a lot of people were really worried about its ranged attack, but its ranged attack isn't nearly as damning as something like an Abomination is or a Mangler. This guy's really more focused about speed, and his ranged attack is more about slowing you down rather than it is about killing you. And I think that they've done this very well. He fits into this map style. He's great in terms of changing the gameplay to something we haven't seen before. You just said he's not tanky. We've seen tanky bosses. Let's get a guy that's, the opposite of that. Not very much health, but he will get to you quick. He does that great. I think the contrast between him and the Amalgam does work because the Amalgam is that tanky boss and he is that up close and personal fast boss. But if we're just focusing on him particularly, I think that this probably is my favorite zombie boss in this game so far.
Absolutely. I still really like the Manglers in terms of a design-wise, but I'm done with Manglers. I am so over Manglers.
When they said no Manglers in in Citadelle, I was like, let's go!
Yes,
and then I saw Malcolm's and I was like, oh, man. But we're one step there. It's okay, next map, we'll just have Abominations in, and then we'll have whatever the other boss zombie. We'll get rid of Malcolm's. And then after that, oh, there comes Manglers. They're back, dude. We couldn't get rid of them. Oh, they love
all of them in the last DLC map, like always.
yeah. Just like Forsaken. It's just everyone together, man. Come on. The incantations are the best Easter egg equipment of all time. Damn! I see the smoke.
Of all time.
Oh my goodness. All time? Okay. Well, let's dive into this. Anything that comes up into your head of Easter egg equipment.
Factually incorrect. You're factually incorrect.
I mean, especially if we're bringing in, we're not bringing in specialists, right? So we're not going to talk about the sword or anything. No. But if we're talking about equipment, I'm thinking like Hell's Redeemer,
Pegasus Strike.
The Pegasus Strike is so good. So
Yeah.
It's so good. No, it's no shot. They're fun though. I really enjoy them. They're
fun.
really good. They're fun. They're a nice little, like they're kind of like their own upgrade of the swords a little bit. You know, you can just do one of them. I think the best two swords are the Raven and the Light Sword. So if you get the incantation with it, it's nice. It's a nice little combo.
Yeah.
But you do sacrifice. You do sacrifice that slot though. So
it's really good to have an Easter egg equipment in the map. Like that has been so refreshing. It's been so long since we've had that. I think they fit a role very well. I love them. I love how you can each have, like each of them have different abilities. You can one-shot amalgams with this one. The light incantation lets you do this with that. Like I love how they fit in there for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think they are very unique. I think that each of them have such different abilities that it overall affects which sword you're gonna get. And I think that's awesome. I also like the fact that there's multiple spots on the map to refill up. So if you don't feel like you're wasting them when you use it, like you actually aren't punished for using your ability, you can just go right up to a spot and pick it back up again. No matter what part of the map, there's places to get them on the village and the castle itself. It doesn't matter. So I think that is a great thing for the map. I hope we see more Easter egg equipment, whether that's specialist or tactical lethal, whatever you want to say. I hope we do see that more often in the next maps. And I think that the fact that there's 4 of them and each of them do such unique abilities, I do think that they're great. But in terms of actual power, they are not the Pegasus Strike. I'm sorry, dog. They're not. They're just not.
Which is fine. They don't need to be in order to be the best.
No, they don't.
But you know.
They don't. They don't. I mean, they're not the greatest of all time, but I love their uniqueness. I appreciate that.
Yes.
So shout out to you, man.
From Brendan, I genuinely think this is a better castle map than DE. Whew.
Just take it
heavy.
Just in and out. Just take a deep breath. Oh man, Brendan. I'll just have you go. I'm just gonna think about this, man.
Yeah, I mean, as a castle map, though, you know, as a medieval, you know, it's tough because I've heard this comment a lot of DE does this better, but this map does this better. I definitely like the fact that in this map you have a build up in a village that goes up to the castle and then you go in the castle. It feels a little bit more immersive that way, whereas in DE you were just kind of in the castle. I've heard people say that the play space in the castle is a little underwhelming here in Citadel. I do feel like swords are a little bit more into the castle-y thing than bows are. So I can see where this is coming from, but I haven't really thought about it all too much. But then again, we've got a cannonball that we can shoot ourselves here and there.
True.
You know, and we've got knights in here, so I can see where this is coming from. I genuinely can. I don't think he's saying it's a better map overall, but a better castle map. I mean, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah, if we're going off aesthetically, the actual mechanics and wonder weapons of this game, or this map, sorry, do fit the castle theme better. I definitely DE is a better map. I'm not gonna say this map is better than DE. I love this map, but I'm not gonna say it's better than DE. But if we're talking about as a castle, the vibe, the aesthetics, you know, I've heard the argument that the castle space itself is a little underwhelming, that you should be able to go through the castle towers more, be on the castle walls, and that the place is a bit small, you know? But I don't think that the size of this map is nearly a detriment. I think that what a lot of people didn't like about Terminus, and I'm not one of these people, but I've heard the argument that Terminus is too spread out. Like, there's not enough content to justify how big the map is. I don't agree with this, but I think that this map takes all that content from Terminus and just compacts it in a smaller space. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that makes the gameplay loop infinitely, not better, but it makes it very, very good, very replayable.
Tighter.
Like, in the speedruns of this map makes it way tighter, and it makes it feel like you always have a goal and every room has a real purpose. There's not space unused. So
exactly,
I think that I could maybe lead with this. I don't know. It's so crazy to say in the year 2024,
right?
But it could be.
They've done a good job with this map. It's a solid map.
It's a really good map. Do you prefer this map over Terminus? Do you?
At the moment, I do. I think it makes a stronger first impression. But I've always been one to say you know, way back long ago, Jason Blundell said that, you know, each map shouldn't be a copy paste of one another. And I feel like that's what it was in Cold War. Like all the maps were just kind of background to the gameplay. But here with Terminus and Liberty Falls and Citadel now, feels like each of them have their own role and purpose. Like Liberty Falls is obviously the casual, just jump in, do whatever. Citadel is the collectathon map. It's the origins of the game. It's the Zetsubo of the game of like, hey, here's just this wide open thing, kind of do whatever you want in whatever order. But Terminus is a more linear experience and a more like step-by-step goes through here, kind of a story, more narrow story experience there. So I love all the maps for a bunch of different reasons, and that's something that I haven't had since like Black Ops 4. So I'm really happy with all of the maps we have here. It was weird. I ranked all the maps before Black Ops 6 came out, and DE was falling behind a lot of other maps. I was like, you know what? DE doesn't have the replayability that I thought it did way back in the day. So I don't know if that was just me like excited, anticipating Black Ops 6 or, you know, recency biased, whatever. But I don't know. I need to go back and play DE again and see how it compares before I make an official statement.
DE was so revolutionary for its time. Like I just remember like being a little kid watching it. And I know a lot of people have DE in their top 3. I'm actually not one of those people. I think DE is a top 10 map ever, but I don't think it's top 5. And
I'm the same way.
If I just had to throw it out there, you know, I am pretty basic with the Origins, Mobs, Shadows, but then I'm a really big Moon person. I think Moon is a great map. I think Buried is one of my favorites. I really like Mallard or Toten actually, which might surprise a lot of people. I think that's one of the greatest. Ancient Evil and 9 are up there as well for me, and then you know, DE kind of falls in that range too. If we're talking about as a castle, I will agree that this map is better as a castle. But so far as a gameplay experience, I just can't put this map over DE just simply because of the amount of fucking hours I have on that map. It's way too many. So just for respect, I'm gonna keep DE above it. But months on end, if I'm having as much fun right now, you know, because we have to see how this map ages, but if I'm having as much fun now as I am at the end of this game's life cycle, we could have a very different conversation here. I'm not closed off to the idea that this could be one of the greatest maps of all time. Our next take here, this is another one. It's not even a take. This is another one. We're just gonna read it.
Oh man.
I have to put these in because
hot takes and random images.
Yeah, we're just Dr. Peck.
Dr.
He
Peck
featured in the, and he said he should have had conversion warheads. That's such a good point.
This comment was written by AI.
Wait, at this point, we might have an AI zombies map. All right, they'll have one new one every season. Our last take here, and this take kind of confuses me a little bit because I don't know if he understands what incantations are. But I think I'll just read it out here real quick because it is our last take. He says in his take that he says this is by Appa or Papa Poonmi. I'm not even gonna read that. A bit disappointed the swords have no upgrades to them. Are we considering the incantations upgrades to the swords, or are they kind of their own thing?
I would put them as their own thing.
So do you think the swords should have upgrades? Because the quests are pretty short.
The quests are very short. And the quest overall on Citadel is pretty short. But I feel like because the quest requires you to build all 4 of the swords, I feel like you have plenty of stuff to do to get all the swords. The problem is when you have 1 sword to do, that's when it feels really kind of underwhelming, which I definitely agree with that. I think that would be kind of his problem. Or he might be complaining about like, hey, they're weak, kind of like what we talked about earlier.
I think he's looking for a second quest. Like he's thinking Origins, right, with the ultimate staffs. And, you know, many of the wonder weapons don't have an ultimate version of them. If we think of the 4 wonder weapons, they're very similar in this one where there's a base, right? Whether it's the Wrath of the Ancients, the Mark II and Alpha Omega, the original Die and D Machine, and then there's the 4 variants of that base. I keep forgetting the Kraken. Oh, we love the Kraken here. But people saying it's a little disappointing. I saw some people talking about maybe the length of getting the swords, how long that takes. And obviously, you know, we already talked about earlier the actual ability of it, so I don't want to go into damage stuff like that because we already talked about that. But there not being an upgrade quest, I think that is okay because if you're just playing by yourself, it's a very casual, friendly quest. Go get your sword.
Yeah.
You can have a good time without having to have a chore list. But if you want to do the Easter egg, you got to do all 4. And at first, I was like, that doesn't seem very solo friendly. But after the way I've seen you're able to optimize it and how actually small the map is, I think it's better that you have to do all 4 swords. And I think it's okay that there's no old upgraded version, because the swords already feel upgraded to me once I get the variants.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's exactly how I thought too. But thinking about like Terminus, where you have that wonder weapon, there is much more of a quest for the Beam Smasher, because you have to do the computers, you have to do the math or pay Dr. Peck, and then you have to go to the islands and do all those lockdowns. So that one singular wonder weapon for that map has that one role. But for this map, it's a different role. You have 4 different wonder weapons. They're a little bit easier to get, but you need all of them for the Easter egg. So like I was saying earlier, just each map having a different purpose and a different role, I think is really refreshing. Even though I do agree when I'm just playing casually and I'm like, oh, I just want to get this sword, and then I get it in like less than a round, I'm like, oh, okay, that's done now. All right, like I understand it's a little bit anticlimactic. I got it.
Yeah, I've completed my day. Let's go to spawn.
Because figuring it out, like I live streamed like for so long with Lego when when the map first came out, and it just felt so overwhelming. You're like, oh, we've got these incantations and these sword steps, and what's an Easter egg step? And so it felt like a lot. I was like, oh man, they're gonna make us get all of these for the Easter egg. And then I was actually dissecting it and actually learning it, and it was like, oh, this is actually, you can get all the incantations in like 1 round, and then all the swords in like 1 round once you have them unlocked. So definitely a lot easier than people think. So really interesting.
But it takes skill to
discussion,
optimize that. Yeah, it takes skill to optimize that, and I think that you're exactly right where you're saying every map is different, right? Beam Smasher, a very long quest for 1 weapon. This map, a bunch of short quests for 4 of them. I think you're exactly right, and I'm excited to see how they're going to differentiate in this next map. Are they going to follow this path? Are they going to create their new one? Are they going to go to something they've already known? I'm not sure, but I'm excited for that. Anyways,
very
Jonas,
excited.
That's all the hot takes I have right now. Do you have anything you'd like to add, your own spice, your own twist, your own pizzazz to throw in before we end the video today?
About the map itself, I can't think of any. Perhaps, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I love the boss fight. We didn't talk about the boss fight, but I love it. I was frustrated with it the first couple times because I died because I'm a scrub. But like, I've got the hang of it now. And it's so fun. It's so fun to go in. I do wish there's a little bit more like strategy, because he'll just kind of keep stomping you towards that last round. But I love sliding around him and shooting off his armor and like dodging his attacks. Like it feels really good. So I very much love and the boss fight room. Oh, it's great. It's one of the best boss fight arenas I think in zombies.
I think it is the best boss fight arena in zombies. I would put it, I mean, my 2 favorites before this was Ancient Evil and 9. Just think both those arenas are so good. I think this is the best though. I think the arena itself, the way that the lava goes around the side and then the arena gets smaller. A lot of glitches in it. Like my first playthrough on it, I wasn't able to, my teammate was not able to revive me because of like some glitch in the boss fight. That's fine though, those things will get patched. I'm not gonna put that against the map. The boss fight, the arena, I absolutely love it. I think it is my favorite part of the map. I think that it's designed well. Everyone and their mother knew that that statue in Spawn was going to be the boss, but the way they went out about it, was unexpected. Everyone thought it would just be Spawn was going to be the boss arena, and okay, it's going to be like Firebase Z. No, this was completely different. It was completely unique. Great story behind the boss as well. It makes sense. Yes. I loved everything about it. I watched Mr. Raffle Waffle's video about the story of this map, and it just, it's great. I really like the boss. I really like where the story's heading. The cutscene's great, which we didn't get to either. Great cutscene. I'm super excited for the future of the story. Hopefully everything works out behind the scenes, and they cook with this game, because they've cooked so far. They've done amazing so far. I'm so happy.
Of the story, not to derail you, but I think it's interesting that we find a statue in this map here, because the last time we saw Alistair Rhodes, he was a statue. So I wonder if there's any sort of chaos story ties with that sort of thing. So I don't know.
That could be a thing. I mean, when you talk to when you talk to Kraft, Alistair's theme plays in the background. There's a lot of chaos implications in this map. you know, we saw the actual Sentinel artifact in Terminus, and then in the cutscene, it's actually on the map and all that.
Yep.
And we're seeing that influence in this map. I'm wondering really how deep they're gonna go into this, with the connections to Origins, the connections to Chaos, the connections with this new map, this new storyline. It just feels like, you know, hopefully all of these different pieces of this puzzle is gonna somehow form into a new story going forward. And I'm excited to see it. I'm really intrigued. I think Maya is the best written character in a very long time. She is so interesting to me, and her little side cutscene with Franco was genius.
Oh,
I think her
love it.
character work when Terminus was amazing. I think Weaver is much more likable in this game than in Cold War. Grand Carver, I don't think they give him much input, enough input. I would like to see them more in the forefront, more in the shine, have their own stories. Rather than kind of playing second fiddle to the other two. Although, they're not bad characters. They're just not super interesting to me. Ravenov, he's been through it. I loved it. I want to see what he does. I'm excited. I think the story's going to be great. I think this is the best story since Black Ops 4. And I'm excited.
I agree. I love it. So excited.
But this was a very positive hot take video for good reason. This map is amazing. We're all super excited to see. And, we appreciate you all being here. Thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to check out Donuts, all right? If you don't know who he already is, go hit that subscribe button. He's killing it right now. So all love to him. Donuts, appreciate you. Or Donuts, wow. Donuts, appreciate you for being on, man. It was great having you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Of course, man, of course. And hopefully we will have another Hot Takes video soon with another amazing guest. Thank you all so much. You guys are the absolute best. And I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next video.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.